All right, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to Santa Monica Fire Station number 1. It is so great to see everybody here. This is the first time since we opened this fire station that we've been able to have a community event. So welcome to your local fire station, and thanks those of you in the audience that helped make this building happen. Give yourself a round of applause. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Today we swear in a new fire chief, and it's my honor to be standing here today to do just that. I want to start by thanking the members of the council that are present and some of our dignitaries today, including our city manager, deputy city managers here today. If they could just raise their hand. Mrs. Mayor, Mayor Sue Himmelrich. Mayor Pro Tem Terry McGowan. She didn't make it. Council Member Gleam Davis. Council Member Phil Brock. Thank you for being here, Phil. Council Member Lana Negrete. Thank you, Lana. And Council Member Christine Parra. Christine, thank you for being here. And he made it today. Oscar, thank you for coming. Council Member Oscar De La Torre. City Manager Dave White. Thank you, David. Welcome to Fire Station 1. Deputy City Manager Anuj Gupta. Anuj, I saw you in the back. There you are. Our City Clerk, Denise Anderson Warren. Thank you for being here, Denise. And Deputy Police Chief Ramon Batista. Or excuse me, Derek Jacobs is here. I saw him in this place. Thank you, DJ, for being here. And finally, I think I saw Susan Klein. Susan, thank you for being here, Assistant City Manager. So I want to start this morning, one, by welcoming you to your fire station. If you see a Santa Monica patch on any of our members and you're looking for a tour, we'd be glad to help you out with that. But also notice the other patches that are on around the room. I see several of our brothers and sisters from other agencies here to support our new fire chief, Danny Alvarez. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies, for being here today. Appreciate you making the trip to Santa Monica. Before we get started with a Pledge of Allegiance, I wanted to thank each and every one of our staff from this fire station, our command staff, administrative staff, our logistics staff, for turning this place from a working fire station into a wonderful venue for a swearing-in ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for what you do every day for this city. Thank you. This time I'd like to invite up Chief John Navandro, our Deputy Chief of Operations, for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could please stand.
Thank you and welcome. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks. You may be seated. It's my pleasure now to introduce the Fire Department Chaplain, Josh Young, who will give the invocation.
I've been asked to give an invocation, a prayer of blessing for our new chief. Will you please join me? Almighty Creator God, we come today from different walks of life, but now unified in asking for the success of the Santa Monica Fire Department. We ask for your favor to be upon Chief Alvarez as he leads this department. Give him wisdom to make the right decisions and fortitude to support those decisions. Bless him with inspiration and vision to meet the needs of the future. Help him as he works with our city manager and council to promote and provide health and safety. Help him as he works with department chiefs administration, staff, and firefighters to develop a robust fire department for our community. May he have your peace while he carries this mantle of leadership. As Chief Alvarez courageously leads this department and serves this community, may we honor and assist him, all of us working together in redemptive charity. We humbly ask that you provide all of the Santa Monica Fire Department personnel with health, protection, and wholeness as it serves the community and supports its well-being. We ask that peace, harmony, and prosperity may prevail for this department and each individual member. Empower us with the spirit of service and direct us to the cause of our neighbors in need. We commit ourselves, our families, this department, and community to your gracious and merciful protection. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Josh. Our next speaker today I'd like to invite up to the podium is retired Fire Chief Ettore Bernardinelli. If you can come up, Chief. Chief Bernardinelli served the fire department here in Santa Monica from 1996 to 2003 as its fire chief, and in many ways serves as one of our biggest champions with the Chief Officer Badge. Ettore, you'll see him at all of our events when we have them, this being the first in a few years, is certainly one of our most cherished resources that we have that retired from this fire department. And we thought, couldn't have thought of a better person to invite up here and say a few words, not only to the membership, which he cares so deeply for, but to our new fire chief. So, Chief.
That's quite an introduction. I hope I live up to it. I'm really glad to be here today. It's exciting for me, at Chief Alvarez's swearing in, to be part of it. I'm truly honored to have been asked to say a few words. And those of the membership that remember me are going right now, no, he's not going to just say a few words. They all know that this is a personal challenge for me to keep it short because it's really about Chief Alvarez. I had the opportunity to spend over 3 decades with the Santa Monica Fire Department. I served 12 years as deputy fire chief under 3 fire chiefs, and that was quite an adventure. And then I spent my last 6 years here as the fire chief. I know the quality of this organization and the people that make up the Santa Monica Fire Department. They're individuals that come to work each day, do their jobs, and make decisions based on what's right. They enter into people's lives, often on the worst day in their life, and they provide life-saving help, whether it be a medical call, a traffic or industrial accident, or a structure fire. A lot of times they change the way the story ends by their help. They put the organization and the citizens and their fellow firefight department members at the forefront. And that's the core of what makes a great organization, putting others ahead of you. The pride I have in our fire department remains strong. Historically, SMFD has always been on a quest to be the very best it can be, always looking for new solutions, experimenting with the latest equipment and technology. So here's a little known fact. Way back in 1972, the Santa Monica Fire Department, under the leadership of Chief John Sturgis, instituted one of the most evolutionary changes in the advanced life support delivery system by creating paramedic engine companies. In the past, paramedics arrived in a special little truck or an ambulance, and they were scattered around the city at different places in other departments. By putting paramedics on a fire engine, he could have a paramedic unit in every fire station. This had never been done before. It's documented in some of the fire history books, and Santa Monica was the first to do it. A lot of cities followed our direction and also created paramedic engine companies. Chief Alvarez comes to us from a department that has a lot in common with the SMFD. The relationship between Santa Monica and Burbank Fire dates all the way back to 1980, when Fire Chief Tom Tolman of the Santa Monica Fire Department and Curtis Reynolds of Burbank were good friends and respected colleagues. The values they shared were straightforward: do what's best for the citizens and for the members of the organization. That relationship and shared respect between the departments has continued over the years. Chief Alvarez and I have something else in common. We both know a highly respected firefighter, retired Burbank Fire Chief Mike Davis. Chief Davis and I have been friends for over 40 years, and he has asked me to wish you the very best today as you begin this new phase of your fire service career. He wanted to share with all of us on the Santa Monica Fire Department that the Burbank Fire Department has sent you the very best it has. In fact, I think he was sorry that your leadership left Burbank and came to Santa Monica. There's no better endorsement than one from Chief Mike Davis. Chief Alvarez, I wish the very best for you, the members of the Santa Monica Fire Department, and the citizens of this great community that you and your personnel will continue to protect. Becoming a firefighter was a dream come true for me. Leading this department was a tremendous honor that I cherish and miss every day. It's my sincere desire that your time with the Santa Monica Fire Department and its personnel will create the same great feelings and wonderful memories for you. I offer you my congratulations and wish you Godspeed in this new and exciting chapter of your professional life. Congratulations. For those of you that didn't maybe get the beginning of this thing, I've been kind of known as being long-winded, okay? So just so you know, this is Chief Alvarez's day, and the last thing I wanted to do is make it about something else. So last night yesterday as I was putting my thoughts together, and then last night as I read this speech, I walked in and I told my wife, and I go, you know, I think we need to call the Guinness World Book of Records, because I just wrote a 3-minute speech. It's never been done before. At this time, I'd like to, I got to get the name right. Well, I'd like to invite the mayor, Sue Himmelrich, to the podium.
Thank you, Chief. So thank you, Chief Bernardinelli, right? I'm guessing people have trouble with your name too, as they do with mine. And look, I just want to hear one really big round of applause for the Santa Monica Fire Department, who has been here for us for the last 2 years in the worst conditions we've ever had in the city. So thank you all. And welcome, Chief Alvarez. Thank you for coming here and leading our fire department. We are very excited to have you. You are close to the final piece that we need to put together in our leadership team in Santa Monica. So we are striving for permanent everything, and thank you very much for being with us. We will give you whatever support and whatever help you need in the days to come. And I'm sure that our city manager, David White, will tell you the same. So a big welcome. And you know that Santa Monica Fire is a leading fire agency. It has a rich legacy of setting a high benchmark for fire service. The department's commitment to the highest level of service for Santa Monica is evident every day, and as our community needs evolve. This department is proactive and it's responsive. Chief Alvarez, you join a talented and strong team, and let's say again, a talented and strong team. SMFD is a highly is a Class 1 organization with highly specialized services, including a full-time hazardous materials unit, an urban search and rescue team, a dedicated airport response company, and an accredited fire academy and comprehensive all hazards fire prevention division. And I have to say that on my ride-alongs with our fire department, I've seen a lot of these crews in action, and I think you're going to be really happy here. You will be supported by over 136 personnel with 19,000 calls for service annually. 80% of those calls are for EMS service, and we have championed piloting deployment strategies that meet the new needs of the community. This includes our new Community Resources Unit that works collaboratively, I can speak, with other departments to provide an alternative response to 911 calls to better address the needs of vulnerable populations in Santa Monica, including people experiencing homelessness. There are many more examples for us to be excited about and proud of, and for you to be proud of as our incoming chief. We have our mobile stroke unit, and if you haven't seen the truck, it's pretty remarkable. A strong academy program, extensive leadership overseeing event action plans for large events, and so much more. But perhaps the most exciting thing about being in Santa Monica and on this day in paradise is to work with such distinguished personnel in our fire service and to serve a community that values its fire department and is eager to support you. I know you will embody the core values of Santa Monica Fire, and if you look on the door over there, everybody who can see it: integrity, compassion, teamwork, accountability, and trust. So we all welcome you and your wife, Natalia, and entire family to our city. And with that, I will turn it over to City Manager David White, who will share more about Chief Alvarez. So welcome and thank you.
A perfect introduction. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Happy to see you and happy to be here with all of you today. Before I deliver a few remarks, I do just want to take a moment to deeply thank Chief Clemo, Chief Navandro, the command staff, union leadership for helping to facilitate and put this event together, but also most importantly and most meaningfully to myself, taking the time to welcome Chief Alvarez to our city and to our department. Your effort is really notable, and I just deeply want to thank you for everything that you've done to welcome Chief Alvarez here. We have an exceptional fire department, and it brings me great joy to welcome an exceptional leader to Santa Monica. Chief Alvarez, welcome to you, and welcome to your entire family that is here with us today. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to get to know you throughout the selection process, and I'm excited to be here today as you are sworn in as Santa Monica's fire chief. It's a unique opportunity as the new city manager for Santa Monica to be able to select the fire and police chiefs for this organization and for this incredible community. With Chief Alvarez, many qualities stood out that made him the ideal candidate. He has served in every rank of the fire service. This field is his passion, and I deeply admire that. His deep commitment to lifelong learning, along with diversity, equity, and inclusion, stood out through the entire process. He is also incredibly data-driven, and throughout his career, he has built meaningful relationships with community and the employees he served. For these reasons, we are extremely excited to have Chief Alvarez join our Santa Monica team. Over time, I'm looking forward to the department, the organization, and the community learning more about Chief Alvarez, and I'd like to share some highlights with you. Chief Alvarez, as you learned, comes to us from fellow ISO Class 1 rated Burbank Fire Department, where he spent the last 25 years, most recently as Deputy Fire Chief. This long tenure demonstrates his deep commitment to community. Chief Alvarez has been part of the Burbank Fire Department's leadership team since 2018. In this capacity, he provided oversight of 120 sworn personnel, 16 civilian staff, and directly supervised 5 battalion chiefs. Chief Alvarez led equity and inclusion initiatives for the department, including through the recruitment and training process. He is skilled in budget and personnel management as well as policy development. Chief Alvarez has experience leading a complex department across ranks of the fire service. His other roles include acting fire chief, battalion chief, fire captain, fire engineer for both hazmat and fire inspection services, recruitment academy instructor, urban search and rescue, and firefighter. A long and distinguished career. Chief Alvarez is active in regional and statewide fire service and emergency management organizations. He holds a bachelor's degree in fire and emergency management from Waldorf University and has engaged in extensive education and training throughout his career, including certifications from the Center for Public Safety Excellence, LAFD Leadership Academy, and has been accepted into the Executive Fire Officer Program through the National Fire Academy. Your commitment is notable. Chief Alvarez, in some ways, is returning to his roots. For those of you that don't know, he was born here in Santa Monica and raised in the San Fernando Valley. It is wonderful to see his wife, Natalia, here with us today. We all know that this position will ask a lot of you and your family. Please know that we are deeply grateful for the sacrifices you will make as a family as your partner steps into his new role. And Chief Alvarez, my commitment to you is that I will be here every step of the way to support you. Chief Alvarez loves the outdoors, and I've learned that he's a surfer. This is no slight to my Berkeley brothers, but I think we can all acknowledge that Santa Monica is a better place for surf than Burbank. And I do personally hope, and maybe it's a bit of a challenge, that it's something that you get to take advantage of, and perhaps you can show me what to do with the surfboard in my office. Before closing, I want to recognize every member, past and present, of our Santa Monica Fire Department that is with us today and watching this ceremony. Please join me in another round of strong applause so we can recognize you and your public service. Nearly 2 years ago, our fire department, along with many dedicated I'll yell it. We're at the end anyways. We're good. We'll just, yeah. I'll just yell. Oh, wait, there we go. Awesome. Thank you. Nearly 2 years ago, our fire department, along with many dedicated public servants that work for the city of Santa Monica, were called on to serve in unprecedented times. I want to thank you for all you've done throughout the pandemic as essential workers and all you continue to do day in and day out for this community. This is an accomplished department, committed to excellence, and as you've heard, innovation. And today is a moment to celebrate that and our new leader, Chief Danny Alvarez. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our city clerk, thank you for being here, Denise.
Can you come on up? And Natalia, I'm going to ask you to come up as well. Okay, I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and then state your name.
I, Danny Alvarez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Santa Monica Fire Chief
of the Santa Monica Fire Chief
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Can you sign? Natalia, I'm going to give you this. You know how that goes, right?
Good afternoon. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone that took time out of their busy schedules today to be here. It really means a lot, and I really appreciate it. Mayor Himmelridge, Mayor Pro Tem McCowan, I thought I saw you here. Council, and to my new boss, City Manager David White. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity and for entrusting me with the mission and vision of the Santa Monica Fire Department. I look forward to building strong relationships with all of you, as well as members of our community, city staff, and members of the Santa Monica Fire Department. I also look forward to continuing to champion our tradition of excellence within the fire department. While the badge that was pinned on my chest today serves as a very proud moment, I also realize that it serves as an acceptance of a tremendous responsibility and commitment to the members of the Santa Monica Fire Department and to the community that we serve. I will work tirelessly to ensure that the Santa Monica Fire Department remains as a top-tier fire agency, not only throughout the region, but throughout the nation. Thank you again for this opportunity. To all the members of the Santa Monica Fire Department that made it out this afternoon, thank you so much for being here. I've had an opportunity to meet many of you over the last couple of weeks, and I couldn't have asked for a warmer welcome. I've been incredibly impressed with everything I've seen so far. In fact, I'd like to share a quick little story here about our Santa Monica firefighters. About 2 weeks ago, I received a text from one of my captains in Burbank, where I came from. The text had a picture of a crew of Santa Monica firefighters reading a book to a little girl. He said a friend of his had sent the text to him after she had to call 911 for her daughter, and Santa Monica Fire Department responded. Fortunately, her daughter ended up being okay. They were both just a little shaken. But our firefighters didn't just show up, check this little girl for injuries, and leave. They stayed to provide reassurance for her and her mom, and they even read her a book to help settle her nerves. This resident was so impressed and thankful for the firefighters and the service that she provided. She felt like she needed to share her experience with someone, and since this captain was a firefighter and the only firefighter she knew, she had to just call and share her gratitude. So you can imagine, as an incoming fire chief, to get feedback like that before I even walk in the door, and to know that our firefighters are out there living into our values and our mission is an incredibly great feeling, and it's a testament to the culture of the Santa Monica Fire Department. While accolades such as being an ISO Class 1 rated fire department are important and something to be very proud of, It's really the interactions such as the one I just described that make Santa Monica Fire Department so special. It's the kindness and compassion demonstrated by our firefighters and their willingness to take the time to truly connect with the people that we serve that makes this organization so great. But this unwavering dedication to duty comes with a tremendous amount of sacrifice and sometimes personal risk. I want every member of the Santa Monica Fire Department to know that your safety and your physical and mental well-being will always remain one of my top priorities. I look forward to working alongside all of you and continuing the tradition of providing unparalleled service to our community. To our front office and support staff, we could not run the fire department without you. Your work behind the scenes is critical to our day-to-day operations, and I honestly don't know that I would have made it through my first day yesterday had it not been for all your help. Thank you for all that you do. Chief Kanabe, I don't think Chief Kanabe was able to make it today, but I'd like to just publicly thank him and acknowledge him. Chief Kanabe has taken so much of his own time bringing me up to speed over the last couple of weeks, and he's done so much to help me with this transition. Chief Kanabe, thank you so much for all you've done for me, all you've done for the Santa Monica Fire Department, and all you've done for this community. To the rest of our city leadership team, I look forward to getting to know all of you and working collaboratively so that together we can continue to provide the highest level of city services to the community of Santa Monica. I'd also like to thank my fire service partners that are here today from Area C. I see Alhambra patches, Burbank, and some of our regional partners. I'd like to give a special thanks to Burbank Fire Chief Eric Garcia, soon-to-be Burbank Deputy Fire Chief Mark Hatch, soon-to-be Burbank Battalion Chief David Burke, Local 778 President Eric Rowley. Thank you so much for being here today. It really means a lot. All of your continued support and friendship means the world to me. I wouldn't be here without all of you. To the Santa Monica community, you are the reason we exist. We will always put you first. Thank you for the tremendous support you've shown the Santa Monica Fire Department for so many years. We will remain committed to finding new and innovative approaches in our service delivery to ensure that we continue to meet the evolving needs of this amazing community. I would also like to thank and acknowledge members of my family that are here today. I have my aunt and uncle, my cousin, my sister Lisette, her husband Christian, their children Keaton and Aniston. Thank you so much for being here today. I'd like to give a special thanks to my parents, Mary and Al. Thank you for teaching me about perseverance, about hard work, and how to remain focused when things don't go as planned. But most of all, thank you for providing me with all the love and support I could ever ask for. To my two children, Kobe and Danny, thank you for all the sacrifices you've both made for me and the support you've given me throughout my career. I remember preparing for an engineer's exam many years ago, and we would be on our way to the beach, and little Danny would be in the back seat with a stack of 3x5 cards, quizzing me on the way and helping me prepare. And then a few years later, when Kobe was a teenager, we'd be sitting at the kitchen table on the weekends, and he'd be asking me interview questions as I prepared for a battalion chief's exam, and then he'd critique my answers. And if you ever want a truly honest critique, ask your teenager. They'll be very honest. Danny and Kobe, I don't know what I did to be so fortunate to have you both in my life, but I'm so incredibly proud to be your dad. Thank you for all your help and for being the most amazing children I could ever ask for. To my incredible wife, Natalia, there's not many people that can look back on their lives and say that the best decision they made was when they were 19 years old. But I'm one of those people. And that decision was to convince Natalia to marry me. Natalia, you've sacrificed so much for me, for our family, and for my career. Your unwavering love and support is the only reason why I'm here today. You've been by my side every step of the way. I would have never gotten hired as a firefighter, made it through a fire academy, made it through probation, or the last 25 years of my career had it not been for your love and support. Thank you, and I love you. And speaking of families, I'd just like to take a moment here before I wrap up to acknowledge and thank all the families of our firefighters. The last couple years have been extremely difficult for everyone, but it has been particularly difficult for our firefighters and especially for their families. While our firefighters remained on the front lines and played a key role in our community's fight against COVID-19, and while they were deployed for weeks at a time fighting massive wildfires, it was their families that were taking care of things at home, providing much needed support, and allowing us to be part of this great and noble profession. So to all the family, spouses, partners, parents, children, friends, and supporters of our firefighters, thank you. Our communities are safer because of all of you and your sacrifice. You are all first responders, and we couldn't do it without you. And lastly, to the members of the Santa Monica Fire Department and the rest of the city staff that put this together, thank you. Once again, you've gone far above and beyond what I would have ever expected. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you again to everyone that made it out this afternoon. I'm extremely grateful for your support, and I hope that you can enjoy the rest of your afternoon in beautiful Santa Monica. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We'd like to invite everybody to some refreshments out back. I know there's a lot of pictures we want to take. Please take a look around the fire station. We've got several of our staff here. Thanks again for being here today on such a special day for our organization. We appreciate it. Thanks again.